Hello everyone, welcome. It is round 2 of the SimRacing Asia F3 series, live here on ApexRacingTV and brought to you by SIMMSA, the Macau-China SimRacing Association, and the Singapore Racers Association. My name is Marco Barbanera and I'm joined behind the cameras by Scott Newton and making his welcome return to the series after a long while. It's Sam Fitzpatrick. Hello, Sam.
Yes, hello, Marco. Fantastic to be here. Pleasure to be commentating on this format of racing. I've commentated on the GTE series before. This was actually my first ever series I commentated on, but certainly haven't commentated on this format and around this Zandvoort circuit, a classic. Of course, we're making a return to a very notable single-seater series very soon, and I'm very excited about this. Good turnout. And yeah, we're just getting this, just about to do the formation lap now.
Exactly. So, as per usual, we are going to have the new format that we've had, also even though slightly different for the GT series earlier this year, and that's going to be 2 races. This particular season, we are going to do one 20-minute and one 25-minute race. The top 8 of race 1 will be reversed for race 2. And as you can see, we are, like Sam was saying, we have switched, GTEs for Lotus 79, which there is one off, and you can clearly see and hear the difference. And the rest of the field is made up by the Dallara F3s. As you can see, the cars are about to roll. And this car actually, it has been said today, a few weeks ago, that despite its homologation running out at the end of this year, the car will continue to be usable. Basically, the Lara will produce basically a halo retrofitting, basically, and so the car will be, despite, and maybe luckily we won't have the halo on it, but the car will be, using Euro Formula for the foreseeable future. Starting grid time then, with pole position has been set by series veteran Niranjan Kumar, and is joined by another veteran in Jais Rinjali. He will be in second. Take him as Stefan Estornino, they will start third and fourth. Then Ayman Azik, Im Jo Uk in sixth, Zhang Tianchan in seventh, Benjamin Brook, then Roy Koistra, Carlos Hu, Kevin Wang in P11, and Rian Badar in P12, Sartono Fuji in P13, Mark Lang in his Lotus P14, and rounding up the grid, car number 22, it is going to be Stefan Iber. So you can see it is quite dark, and we have been told that the iRacing Beta UI has been particularly crazy setting up this race, and Sam knows everything about it.
Oh,
sadly.
boy, I do.
So we are keeping our fingers crossed that the sun will in fact stay up for the entirety of or somewhat up for the entirety of the proceedings, because in this format we don't take a break between race 1 and race 2. It is straight away end of race 1 and immediately gridding procedure for race 2. The Porsche pace car driver thinks otherwise. He already has the lights on, so we are hoping that the sun at least keeps the track lit up for the next hour or so. Yes, Sam, F3s, you have had the pleasure to commentate on World F3 earlier this season, if I'm not mistaken, so you know everything about this car. I think you are going to appreciate the decision to start with a rolling start, because this car can be dreadful with cold tires starting from the grid.
Yeah, that's certainly the excuse that many drivers use. That can be guaranteed. But yeah, perhaps a wise decision with the run to also around to Zandvoort. Such a tight first corner. Tarzan. That's the only corner I know the name of, unfortunately. I'll check the map later on. Of course, what Michael was referring earlier on in terms of the day-night transitions, we did once host a mock Bathurst 12 hours with accelerated time of day, and instead of starting at 6 in the morning, it started at 6 in the evening, and you can guess it was quite dark.
And that was why I crashed on the backstretch.
Obviously, yeah. That was why Marco crashed. So Hopefully this isn't going to happen. We haven't got any accelerator time, so it shouldn't get too bad, but could still be affecting its faith cool out there as
No,
well.
that is the problem,
Nice
Sam. We have 2 times accelerated time also.
Oh, really?
So, to make matters worse. But so far, every time the session has changed, the sun has been reset to the original position. So we are hoping that that is going to be the case. As the pace car is about to enter the final corner, Arie Luyendyk Bocht, the corner named after the IndyCar legend, Arie Luyendyk. And it's time to go racing, apparently.
Yes, Kumar on the pole position. He'll have the inside line going into turn 1, certainly where you want to be. We'll wait to see if he waits for the green light, or maybe is a little bit early. He's got Yasmin Yali alongside him. What is going to happen in this 20-minute opening race? Pace car's going to pull in any second now. And we should get away here at Zandvoort. And away we go. Nice start for Kumar. Straight away gets a nice lead over the rest of the field. Yali could be under pressure from Kim going into turn 1. Kim down the inside. Yali trying to stick it round the outside, but Kim is going to have the ideal line and move straight up into second position. Nice start for him.
Absolutely, very nice start. And now, of course, despite having the rolling start and the formation lap, tire temperature will be an issue. So they will have to do everything in their power to manage that. And Kumar is really showing that he can pull away already from his opponents, with Jali, like you were saying, struggling a bit, Kim jumping him. Of course, we said this many times, and this is maybe the only interesting point I can make while commentating, is that being an oval driver, starting in second is on a rolling start is very tough unless you have triple screens or a 3D visor, because you either focus on watching your car and your steering inputs, or maybe watching the car that is on your left or on your right, the pole sitter. But everything you do, it is not going to be as good as a jump, because you are timing the jump on the car besides you, while P3 has the reference car straight in front of him. So usually guy in third place has a little bit of an advantage, and that was the case here as well, as now Jali is under pressure from Estornino.
Yeah, bit of an issue as well for Brook just in the background. He's lost a couple of positions in quick succession. Amadar now. Amadar. Oh, we've got very slow, and that's going to be contact amongst 4 drivers, I believe that was. That's Mark Lang, Rue Koistra. Losing the car, spinning round, and getting a couple of other cars involved as well. So not good stuff for him. And now Ambadar is very wide, trying to cover off the line from Fu just behind, but Carlos is going to go through, surely just about. Such a narrow circuit, and well, that was harsh defending there from Ambadar, and Fu almost lost out to Zhang as well, as Yali's got an issue. I think he's dropping down the order.
So does Kumar, the race leader, also. You can see he's missing the front wing there, and not only that, I think he's missing more than the front wing, so he has been caught out by the cold tires, and what is a very cold racetrack as well. So Kim is your new leader, Estornino up to second, him in third, then Azik, Kumar, who has got to stop, I would imagine, and Jali as well. Dropping down to 6th. I have yet to see the damage on Jali's car. Let's see the replay. This is what happened to the Malaysian driver. Going around, and lucky boys. So he's okay, despite the scare. Not the same can be said for the former race leader. As you can see there in the background, that is the cameras on Kim. You can see the race leader going around hard into the barriers there. And that is going to be a pit stop with a fast repair, but certainly, Niranjan Kumar chances of, a good finish have been squandered already, as he is in the pits and he's getting into his pits. So you can see on the bottom of your screen, he will get in and out very quickly. You see 1.5 seconds getting his fast repair. and back on the racing track, but with a lot of ground to cover. 13 seconds behind Carlos Fu, so that is going to be... Oh, and another mistake from Kumar, I think, as he's been passed by Koistra as well. So it is going to be, shows how quickly things can change around here, Sam, because from a very comfortable lead and pole position down to last place and struggling.
Yeah, of course, needs to try to finish in the top 8. That will mean that you get within the inverted grid. At least, the likes of Kim and S2M02 are going to be affected by that. And he might be near them in race 2, but that's certainly a lot of points potentially down the drain. Only round 2 of the season, of course, but we certainly don't want to get off to a bad start. So Yali still struggling a little bit up there. I wonder if he's just overcooked those. Oh, sorry, no, it's not Yali under pressure. Ambadar still under pressure from Zhang. And ahead of Brook as well. Of course, you just saw Satono and Huang as well. But Ambadar currently doing a pretty good job at defending. It is ever so difficult to overtake around this circuit, Marco. We saw this in the World Championship Series last season, which actually was a really good race, it must be said, a really strategic race. And, overtakes were at a premium that day. And but it can still be very entertaining because, it's better to see a 20-minute long battle than a 20-second long battle where a driver just, waltzes straight past someone like Monza, for example.
Yeah, and also, if I'm not mistaken, these guys got a helping hand this week because I think, if I'm not mistaken, Eracing launched a fan series with this particular car with races every half an hour in, tracks that are, very popular and, short technical layouts. So you can certainly, do a lot of, training while racing with the F3 car. That I'm a bit sad that it's a fun series because I would have loved, sort of, Ferrari fixed GT3 style of series, as Kim responds with the fastest lap of the race in the previous lap as Tornino was quicker, but now the Canadian driver has been able to get a very, very good lap time, as Benjamin Brook for Brook Racing is still in very, very close to the rear wing of Zhang Tiantian car, but as you can see so far, not close enough to go for the overtake. So yeah, I was a bit disappointed when this was announced as a fan series because I would love to run this car more often, but the fact that the races are every 2 hours and the fact that, I'm very bad and very prone to damage, doesn't, I still prefer the Skip Barber race car because of the hourly races as
I
Jolly.
think it's half an hour though in the in the fun series.
Yes, but fun series. Oh, look at that Jolly!
Oh dear!
And now he's got massive damage. So he was lucky the first time, but now he's missing the front and rear wing. So that was a massive off for the series veteran. Let's see the replay.
Well, there's a lot of runoff around this circuit, but he's managed to somehow reach the wall and, with some power, just overcorrected. That's where he almost lost the car earlier on. Last time he didn't correct enough. That time he certainly corrected too much, and Yasmin Yali out of the race. Well, I say out of the race, he'll be able to use a fast repair, but a competitive finish, that's not going to go his way in this race one. Nearly halfway through this race one, we've already seen so many crashes. Tai Kim still leading the way, 2.5 seconds ahead of Joel S2M02, and lapping a couple of tenths a lap faster. Im is in third with Ayman Hazik in fourth, and then you got Ambadar, Zhang and Brook all in that trio with Sartono now starting to close the gap a little bit, maybe just maintaining it at the moment, just at the rear of it.
Yes, to finish my point, just wanted to say that, for me, fan series are a big waste of time. Especially with the way Eracing is shaped, and the fact that in the day you only have so many hours, or so little hours, maybe the free time to do actual racing. Yeah, every once in a while they are good, but and also that when it's a fun race, the driving standards tend to be not iRacing like, more like public server like. So too bad, but it is what it is. It's a very good option for these drivers, to do some close quarter fighting with this car and get better and better, because people watching shouldn't be mistaken by the appearance of this car. This is a very, very tricky car to drive. It's a car that basically needs to be a filter between the regional series and the world championships, F3, which now F3, F2 and F1. So it is not an easy car to drive at all, and it really marks the difference between those that can do it and those that will not be able to make the next step. So it might seem like a low power nice car to drive, and it is very nice, but very, very, very tricky to get it right.
S2M02 closing in on Kim out in the lead. The gap was up at over 2 seconds, but on that last lap, Joel was 1 second faster than the race leader. And the Eurasia Sim Sports Hawks car is under pressure from the Macau SimRacing driver. And you can really see he's eating into their gap down now under 0.7 of a second. A little bit of turbulent air in this car, not a whole lot of slipstream. Might be a little bit OP, the slipstream. And of course, around this final corner, you can get that slipstream effect. You don't have to lift off or anything like you would have to in the MP4-30. But you can see really no impact being made at the moment. Just struggling a little bit down the straights, if anything, S2M02. Dropped back to about 0.9 of a second behind. But it's a shame, Marco, in real life that this part of the circuit may well have to be modified. It may not be a thing much longer because you can kind of understand it doesn't really meet F1 standards. It can't really be passed off as a grade A circuit when you've got a 120 mile an hour corner with no runoff.
Yeah, that is the issue we are having in Vallelunga as well, which is grade A for race cars, but not the equivalent for motorcycles, because there are a couple of corners where you have insufficient runoff area for an eventual bike crash, and so either you change completely a good chunk of the racetrack, or you're not going to get any more superbike like we had in MotoGP, never, of course. And so far the decision has been not to make these changes, which I agree. Because it would cost insane amount of money, but of course when it's F1 money, you can do that. But I don't think that these guys that decided to do this race, F1 race in this track, didn't watch the Apex stream for the World Championship. If you remember, impossible to pass with the MP430 around here. Nino is looking very, very good right now, and he's closing in on Kim. So after a good chunk of quick laps from Kim, he is really struggling to hold back S2M02. As you can see the gap in real time, and S2M02 is really, really close. So with little less than 8 minutes in this particular race, seems like we are going to have a big fight for the lead.
Yeah, definitely. I wonder if we can maybe ride on board with S2M02, just see what the darkness is like for these drivers, see if it's made much of an effect. It must be quite difficult, especially when obviously tarmac is black. And everything else around this circuit doesn't necessarily brighten up that much. iRacing is quite a dark game. Of course, it doesn't fall into the illusion that higher saturation equals better graphics, which is quite thankful. But they have kept it quite dark, and so yeah, quite difficult to pick your spots potentially. But here he goes into the slipstream, certainly gaining this time down the straight, almost getting into the rev limiter, really into the rev limiter by the end of the straight. Of course, this is a fixed setup provided by the league, and yeah, that time actually is it a fixed setup? I'm not quite sure, but yeah, that time really wasn't able to make any impression, but he's certainly keeping him honest. His setup's open. Okay. So I was completely wrong about that one, but there you go. Estefano. Is it going to have to be down into turn 1, Marco, or maybe has he got a better opportunity someplace else?
And that's a good question because, you know, he's hitting the rev limiter there, so I think, you know, unless he gets a much better exit than his opponent, it's going to be tough. His better chance, I think, would be to put some pressure on the leader and, you know, go from there, basically, trying to force him into making a mistake, maybe even at the final corner, and then have the run into turn 1 or the next corner where after Kim makes a mistake and try to go for the move. You know, he was super quick in catching his opponent, especially in these past 2 or 3 laps. But now the difficult part comes, and that is especially true with open wheelers. You know, making the move is much more difficult than chasing and catching the driver in front of you.
Yeah, definitely. Like I said, the turbulent air isn't too much of a factor in this car, but just to, you know, pick your apex, especially around these long corners that Zandvoort can be very difficult when you've got a car ahead. It's really getting quite dark now, it must be said. We are, it is now 10 in the evening, the 15th of May, as it always is.
A racing day, yes.
Yes,
I mean,
day.
I need to trademark that because
yes.
it's going to get stolen.
iRacing Day. Oh, that's fantastic. Well, yeah. Of course, May the 4th, and then Star Wars Day, and then you got iRacing Day. Like, that's a fantastic weekend if it ever coincides. Yeah, iRacing Day certainly. So relatively near to the summer solstice. Otherwise, this would be a long time ago. Still Ambadar keeping behind Zhang. Y Lab Motorsport versus iRacing China, but these 3 drivers have just stayed put so far. We also had a battle a few minutes ago between Yali and Kumar, who started on the front row of the grid, believe it or not. They're far from it now. They're actually fighting over last and second to last out, so the drivers still running. But Yali did manage to get past Kumar. Maybe Kumar still obtaining a little bit of damage out there. Now Zhang really closing in on Ambadar. 0.2 of a second behind. They're moving on to lap 12 of this race now. Which way will he go? Is there going to be any defense from the driver just ahead? He looks to the inside, would be an aggressive move, and just coming across ever so slightly there was Ambadar. Really no option there for Zhang going into such a fast sweep.
Well, if there's an upside to these dark conditions, you can really appreciate the glow of the brakes as they enter, especially the turn 1 braking area. It's absolutely incredible to see how you know, bright those brake discs get. And it's a fantastic battle for 5th place, I have to say. With, you know, Brook is not that far away, as you can see. Whilst we see that in the lead, Estornino has not been able to get down to, you know, 1/10, 2/10 of a second, always hovering around those 3/10 of a second. As a mistake there from the iRacing China driver gives the position to Brook, and also Kevin Wang moves past him and into 7th place. So certainly a mistake that, you know, is not ideal. As here we go for the lead. Not going to be this time around. So a mistake from Zhang, the silver lining. He has provisional pole for race 2.
Yes. Maybe that's what he was going for. Although Sartorno, who's been pretty rapid in this race so far, only 1 second behind. So Zhang's going to be kept very honest there. Kim, 0.3 of a second ahead of Estornino. 0.2 of a second going into this one. 1.5 of a second through the corner. And there are some very wide entries into this next right-hander. So maybe an opportunity we can see. Just never really gets that close. Seems to be do that first part of the lap where he really seems to gain some time, but kind of gets to the point in the circuit where he can't really do anything with it. Did either of these 2 drivers win a race last time out, Marco?
I think Kim won race 2, but I might be wrong. you are catching me off guard right now. I'm a bit distracted because the marshal in me wants to throw the red flag straight away. This is getting properly dark. And remember, even if we get a reset of the conditions for race 2, the second race is 5 minutes longer. So, you know, as the white flag is in the air, by the way, one more chance for Estornino, one more lap for Kim to bring home the race 1 win. And this is going to be now, of course, the situation for the drivers is a bit better because on board you have, you know, more of a well-lit situation, but also sort of, as you can see, I mean, I might have jumped the gun a little bit. Also, this is one of the tracks in Eracing that is not night racing ready, so there are not going to be any kind of you know, lights you know, from the buildings, you know, the pit stands, sorry, the grandstands, the pits. So yeah, the only source of light is the sun and the lights of the pace car. So this is getting very, very difficult, and you can see it is almost pitch black out there.
Well, I can't see anything with the settings that I use, but still, by the timing board, Tai Kim is leading the way, and he's only got a couple more corners here to execute, and he looks like he's going to win race 1.
Looks like it is. Ari Leyendijk boxed for him for the final time in race 1, and the Canadian driver for Eurasia Sim Sport brings home the checkered flag. Nice victory for him in race 1. Estornino was not to be only second place, as we see this battle for P5. Ambadar and Brook, seems like Brook will not be able to close the gap on the driver in front of him, as you can see him in third, Azik in fourth. And here we go, one more corner for these two as well, and it's going to be Ambadar in front of the Brook Racing driver and I suppose owner, Benjamin Brook. Fuji Sartono trying to get at pole position. Final stretch of tarmac for these two guys. Gonna be side by side. Wow, 0.044. Zhang gets pole position for race 2. And you can see a very lonely Jaiserin Jali in front of an even lonelier Niranjan Kumar. The front row starters, like Sam was pointing out earlier, they are going to finish, you know, in as the last two cars on the lead lap. Stéphane Ver will finish 2 laps down. Let's see what is the situation concerning race 2.
I feel as though we're going to have to go to another session, most likely. Credit to the drivers, though. Like, personally, I would have really struggled in those conditions, but they dealt with it extremely impressively. And
oh, look at that!
Well, the thing is, it has been reset.
Yes, but this race is 5 minutes longer.
It's 5 minutes longer, and it's 15, and this race is starting 20 minutes later within the sim. So we're going to get to the same point as we ended in literally 5 minutes' time. So could be some issues right now.
Well,
we seem to still be going on. Well, yeah.
Consider this training because, you know, at least for me, because in a couple of weeks' time, I'll have to commentate on a night race at Mosport with the Indy cars. So, yeah, that is going to be interesting.
Really? Wow. Okay. Dinners with sorry, what was it called?
Yeah, the dinners with racers.
Dinners with racers. There you go.
And so the cars are here, lined up on the starting grid as we go through the final race results of race 1, and the race winner is Tai Kim in front of Joel Estradinho, Im Jong-hook, Amana Zik, Andre Ambadar top 5, Benjamin Brook, Kevin Wang, Zhang Tiantian in P8, Fuji Sartono, Carlos Fu, Mark Lang in his Lotus, Rook Oistra, Jason Jory, Niranjan Kumar 2 laps down. 3 laps down in the end was Stéphane Hiver. And of course, the grid is the same, but the top 8 are going to be reversed, which means, as you can see on your screen right now, Zhang Tiantian is your pole sitter in front of Kevin Wang, Benjamin Brook and Andre Ambadar, Ayman Azik and Im Jong-hook, Joel Estornino, Tai Kim, this is the top 8 reverse, of course. Then the other drivers in the order they finished: Fuji Sartono, Carlos Hu, Mark Lang, Ru Koistra in P12, and then Jasim Jari, Niranjan Kumar. They have a lot of work to do. Stefani Ver in last place. So let me tell you a useless fact.
Oh, I'm braced.
Okay, so we have, it's a one thing that we are sadly don't have in this series is Japanese drivers, of course, no? But we have Mr. Sartono, whose name is Fuji, no? Just like the famous Japanese mountain, even though he is from Indonesia. So in Japanese, there is, as you might know, the way to say Mr. is san, Mr. or Mrs. It's an honorific term. So Fuji-san not only means Mr. Fuji, but also means Mount Fuji, because san also means mountain. So when I first studied Japanese and I kept reading Fuji-san, I said, why are they calling Mount Fuji Mr. Fuji? Maybe because they have such deep respect, for Mount Fuji that they consider him a person. But then and also san means tree. And that is why, if you go on Twitter, my Twitter account is mbarbanera3. So now you know why.
Mind blown.
Mind blown,
Thank you
yeah.
for that. Well, it's good to have some, some Asian facts in sim races.
And you have to really, really, really appreciate my self-control, because it's been like a couple of years that I wanted to call Fuji Sarton. I wanted to call him Fuji-san, but I don't never do it. Even though it's I always wanted to ask him why he has maybe in Indonesia it has a completely different meaning, the name Fuji. Also, I keep saying Fuji, which is the Japanese way of saying it, so I apologize for that.
Well, you may as well say it the correct way, I guess.
I know, because in Japanese the F is not very strong, so it's Fuji-san. But that is another story. What the story for this second race, Sam, is will we need a red flag for low lighting conditions?
Well, we can deploy the safety car. I can't personally, but the league people, you might be able to, Mark, you might be able to deploy the safety car. So I think once it gets to a certain point, which will probably be 5 or 10 minutes into this race, it might be worth deploying it. Well, yeah, I don't really know what. It's up to the organisers to decide, but either way, it should be a fun first few laps here, because what's the reverse grid of 8? What can the front runners of race 1 do in this race 2?
Yeah, absolutely. Last week in Nürburgring, the second race was very, very fun, because this top 8 reverse really worked. Let's see once again if it works in this second race of the season as well. Look at the pace car being teleported by an invisible hand into the pits.
Go, green flag.
Zhang gets away well once again. Pole sitter with a good jump. Huang is under pressure from Brook straight away. He goes down the inside. Nice move there from Benjamin Brook. Hazik is also pretty close to Huang as well, but I think we'll just stay in 4th position for now. A good start for Estanino. He gained 2 places briefly, but just being shuffled down once again. And now they are all starting to find single file. A little bit of side-by-side just in the background there, but now a couple of tenths between each of the drivers. Huang still under big pressure from Hazik for 3rd position currently. But a nice corner there from Huang, and he just pulls away through ahead of him still. Up 2 places himself, him down 3 places, so a poor start for one of the front driver.
Oh, massive wreck!
In to Tai Kim.
Yeah, the race 1 winner. I think it's just, the situation of wrong place at the wrong time. He didn't do anything wrong there, but he just got launched by a spinning Carlos Hu, and that was quite a big wreck. And the race winner, of race 1 is already towing back to the pits, so no way we are going to have a repeat winner in race 2. Such bad luck for him.
Ambadar under pressure from Estanino. Estanino did get past briefly on lap 1, and he's still only 1/10 of a second behind. Here he goes into Tarzan corner, looks to the inside, going to be a brave man to pull this one off. Super deep on the brakes, using the banking to his advantage. Maybe almost a little bit of contact between the two of them. And Ambadar, is he going to actually pull ahead? Nice straight, nice speed there, and now off into the wall. Surely no, keeps his somehow keeps the car going.
Kumar is in the wall.
Kumar off in the background.
Wow, what a terrible race for Kumar, as he is once again in the wall. Disaster for him, such promise after qualifying, and now it remains to be seen the situation of the race cars. Estordinho and Ambadar, as him goes around as well in the background, as I think also Jali has gone for a ride in the daisies. So all is happening into this second race. And certainly the the time of day is not helping these guys right now. Looking at the top 5, they are very close. Seems like Estordinho's car is okay after that contact, but still, Sam, I'm still thinking about that crash for Kim, because that was a big one, and it's always frustrating. I can imagine, when you are minding your own business and you find yourself on your lead, or it almost scares you, because you don't expect it.
Yeah, had no chance of avoiding that one. We've almost got side by side for the race lead. Zhang is off.
The leader is off. Maybe
turn 1, and he's going to drop down into.
And Brook is off, and Estordinho is off, and there is a car upside down. Kevin Wang is off. What in the hell happened there?
Haziq is now leading the way ahead of Ambadar. Haziq started the lap down in 4th position. In one corner, he's into the lead. Remarkable. Ambadar has gone from 6th to 2nd in one corner. So all of a sudden kicks off at this lap 3 of the race. And it's Haziq leading Ambadar, leading Zhang, the former race leader, still on the podium and still only 1.5 seconds off the race lead.
Yeah, I mean, he got lucky in the end, because by going straight, I'm thinking, and I might be completely wrong, that Kim coming out of the pits and the dark conditions might have caused some chaos. Let's see the replay. Thank you, Scott. As Kim comes out of the pits, following the rules, there's the overtake. It's very dark. His car is very black. Maybe did he go around on cold tires? Here the crash has already happened. You can see Kim was not involved, because he went, he went on his own merry way. But someone must have spun, and or maybe it was, maybe Kim coming out of the pits caused the race leader to go wide, and then cars in 2nd, 3rd place got a little bit unsettled by that, because I'm not sure I've ever seen anything like this in my life. Like, 80% of the leading pack going, crashing out in the first corner of the new lap. Let's see another replay.
Yep, so Brook was down the inside, has the lead given to him pretty much.
Here we go. That's what happened then. It was, I think, Brook. No, well, Brook, I think, lost the car just slightly, then got tapped by Wang, and then Estordinho was also involved in that somehow. It's very tough to get things under this car really doesn't like to be moved sharply, and that is exactly, I think, what happened there. So in the end, as Rokoistra now is up to P3, as Haziq in first, Ambadar, Koistra, Lang, Sarton, and Zhang is down to 6th place right now.
Yeah, we're getting to the same point now as we were in the at race 1, at the completion of race 1, in terms of the darkness, but putting the drivers off too much, it must be said. I am
Mark Lang,
sorry
to interrupt you. Mark Lang is stopped on the side of the track in his lot 79. comes the replay, and listen to the nice sound of his engine. And he just parked there, apparently. Trying to... So let's go back to... Yeah, maybe he parked to let, you know, to let the F3s go, and then now he's in the pits, so I don't know, maybe he wants to do some admin duties. Maybe like Sam was saying, maybe make the guys race and then at a certain point deploy the pace car. Because,
yeah, I just had to turn up my camera actually on my two just to see what's going on. But yeah, I think that might be the necessary action out there. But like I said, that I haven't heard too much complaining so far amongst the drivers within iRacing at least. So and their lap times are fine, still lapping under the 90
The yellow
second
flag
mark.
is out.
And we have now got the caution flag.
And I have to say thank you to Pascal for listening to my suggestion, and we have a nice yellow flag on the screen.
Oh, lovely. I can't see this.
I'm so happy. I'm so happy. So this is what was missing to make the the software oval racing proof, and now it is finally. That was the missing key, and we have a big yellow flag. As you can see, the safety car is out, and I have to be honest with you, I am not sure we are going to continue the racing more than this.
Yeah, we'd have to lap round for about 6 hours. Maybe not 6 hours to be fair, but for about 4 hours for the sun to come back out again. And well, we're certainly not going to do that. So I'm not quite sure what the plan is now. But we'll certainly keep you updated. I'm
seeing a white flag on my screen, but that might be iRacing playing weirdly with us. Is there an admin command to call the white flag? Because I'm not sure about that. Now, to be fair, I haven't been an admin for a race in ages. Like, I'm talking about years and years.
And is Hazik coming into the pits? Looks as though he is. Is everyone coming into the pits? That seems to be the message. No message on the iRacing screen, it seems. At least not that I can see. But maybe that was just directed to the drivers, and they are all coming into the pits now. And yeah, we'll see what happens next.
Yes, as everyone is filing into their pit stall. Now, the race is not over. I can tell you that much.
Of course, later on Apex Racing 2, we've got the media day for the UV8 Supercar Series. Myself and Marco will be taking you through that one, so certainly can see. Certainly recommend watching that one. Fuji Saturno, mountain or not, is still going.
Yeah, because
yeah. So he's lined up behind the pace car, and he is now the race leader.
I doubt
that will stand, but
yeah,
he may as well bathe in this glory.
They should put a command, something in iRacing, because if you put a pace car in every corner, look at the amount of light you can get, no? Especially with the new headlights. So if you put a parked pace car in each corner, you could race everywhere at night.
Yeah.
And
get floodlights, just have Porsches.
Yeah, or even better, a league can employ. Let's say there are 10 corners. You employ 10 guys that come into the session driving a GT car.
Yeah.
You make them park each at every corner, and there you go, night racing with open wheelers. Gotta get creative, Us guys that were born in the 80s and used to play on 2D games. This for me is like the future, even though I'm only 30. But gotta get creative somehow, no? So
think there might be a discussion currently going on amongst the drivers. I'll try to turn on my voice chat. I might be able to listen in, although I can't. So, but there might be a message that is posted up to the in-race chat as to what will happen next. But no, I think Porsche's on pikes, like above the circuit. I think that's
wow,
that's the solution.
That is going to be very tough. As drivers are exiting the session, sadly, so I think that is going to be it for this race. As we are seeing Mr. Saltano still scored in 4th place, despite being the leader. I think that will change on the start-finish line. But like you were saying, I'm guessing they are going to get the results from the moment the pace car was called.
Yes.
Or the previous lap, like they do for the previous 2 laps in Formula 1, I think the rule is. As you can see, the marshal frantically waving the yellow flag.
Very passionate. I can't even see him.
But yeah, I think this will be it for the race. So I would love to give you the final results, but I can't because now the order is very, very messed up. So I tell you what I'm going to do. I am going to go back in the stream and tell you the running order in the moment the pace car was called. So just give me a second and I shall give you the unofficial race results for race 2. Of course, it remains to be seen if the race is going to be counted as official. Only 7 minutes were completed. So, at the moment of the yellow flag dropping, which I should be very close to it right now. Okay, so the leader was Azik in front of Ambadar, Koistra, Sarton in 4th, Zhang, Jali. This is the top 6. Kevin Wang, him. Then there was Carlos Fu, Stéphane Ver, Kim, and Joel Estornino was the last of the running cars with Mark Lang in the pits. Same goes for Brook after his crash in the first corner, and Niranjan Kumar out of the race as well. So this was the running order in the moment the yellow flag dropped.
Well, thanks for that, Marco.
And let's bring in, actually, Kevin Wang, if you guys agree, because he might shed some light on the situation.
Oh, brilliant, Marco. Congratulations.
What did I do? I interrupted.
Shed some light on the situation.
No, that no pun intended.
Genius.
Hello, Kevin.
Hi, hey guys. Hey Marco, hey Sam.
So thank you for jumping in. So sadly, the race had to be interrupted, which is a pity because we were having a lot of fun. I want to ask you first if you know already if this race is going to count towards the final. You know, if this race is going to be official as this race too.
Mark announced in the session that we don't know yet. He's gonna decide later.
So of course I was talking with we were talking with Mark Lang earlier, and the beta UI really pulled a trick on you. But no, to be clear to the viewers, it's also the beta UI is the only way, if I'm not mistaken, to get the reverse the it format race in. So it's a necessary evil, sadly, no?
Oh yeah, I heard Mark talking something about that, where he tried to change the conditions or the timing, and it kept on crashing on him. So he had no choice. So I hope everyone knows that Mark did his best to prevent this from being a night race in a Formula car with no head.
concerning instead, the actual racing, seems like you guys were enjoying a very, very fun evening out there. Lots of close racing in a track that really is not very forgiving, and a car that is not very forgiving.
Oh yeah, I had great tons of fun. It was I'm starting to get used to this car, getting acquainted to how it handles, and it's really nice. It's actually at the beginning I was, I didn't like it at all, but I think second race in, I'm beginning to like it a lot. And this race, it was the first race was kind of dull, but the second race was excellent. I don't know if you guys saw the racing on the broadcast, but from my point of view, it was so much fun before the incident at turn 1.
Yes, absolutely. We got more than a glimpse of your battles, up and down the field. Like I said, that makes me even more sad, because the racing was great. Sadly, it had to be interrupted, of course. But yeah, Kevin, thank you for joining us and explaining the situation. Before we let you go, anyone you'd like to thank?
I'd like to thank Mark and you guys for putting on another great, will be a great season, I think. And I'm hoping the participation will continue to be good for the rest of the season.
Thank you very much, Kevin, and we will catch you next time.
Yeah, see you guys next week. Bye.
And that was Kevin Wang, one of the series admins. I was about to say it again, giving us some explanations about what happened. I have to be honest with you, Sam. There was no pun intended when I brought him into the booth.
You're just a natural comedian.
I think we have another driver standing for interviews, Sam, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes, Rue Koistra, which he got a podium in that second race. Whether or not it will stand, hopefully it will do, because Rue, you kind of navigated your way through the chaos in that race too.
Yeah, I managed to stay on my feet, which was really great. It was I wasn't sure what you guys were going to do, but it started getting quite interesting, because I started missing all the braking points, because you just couldn't really see them in the dark, and I wasn't sure which way it was going to go, but it became quite fun.
Yeah, what were kind of gamma settings do you set your TV on? Because I was struggling to see anything for most of the race. So did you feel as though you benefited maybe a little bit in comparison to others, or do you usually run your gamma settings a little bit lower?
No, I actually race in VR, so I just race whatever the standard setting is for the Vive, and I was still managing to just get a little bit of contrast on the sidelines there, so I was just getting my my braking points right. So I think I made out pretty well there.
So where do you know which round is next in the series? Spa, right? Is Spa going to be a good race for you? You think?
Well, I'm quite new to F1, so I'm running probably a lot more downforce than most of the guys, just to try and stay safe and stay on the track. So Spa's probably going to test me, because it's one of those tracks where you kind of got to ease off on the downforce and see what you can do.
Yeah, we wish you the best of luck for that one. Is there anyone you'd like to thank before we let you go?
SimRacers Asia, of course, and you guys are fantastic. So yeah, thanks to everyone involved.
Thank you very much, Rue, and we'll see you next week.
Thank you very much.
So, speaking of Spa, I think, which is where we are going to be the next time around. Actually, I can give some interesting insight for that particular round, because I have seen this car race at Spa and listen to the race winners of that weekend in 2016. Joel Eracing, which is a driver for BMW now, he's still making his way up the ranks, but now he's racing in DTM. And race 2 winner was George Russell, and race 1 winner was Lance Stroll.
Oh wow!
So
okay.
there was certainly a nice nice field in that particular season. And I remember actually the first race I saw in Spa at all was a very, very Friday afternoon wet race that was won by Lance Stroll himself. And also, that was the same year I saw these cars a couple of months earlier in testing here in Vallelunga. And so, yeah, there were many quick drivers running around in that particular year. And I can tell you that also there was the Formula Renault 2.0 that weekend. So whenever those series come around in Spa, I can give you 1% more, useful thoughts. Especially, it was quite a spectacle to see these little cars, with the engine sound go on Rouge and trying their best to make it through the top of the hill. So it was very, very, very interesting. And now we have Mark Lang waiting for an interview. Hello, Mark.
Oh, hey there. Hi, guys.
Welcome to the booth. And so sadly the race had to be interrupted, which is too bad because we were having a lot of fun once again. And I think that was a sensible decision in the end to call for the safety car there.
Yeah, I think what I noticed was that the sessions started to open later and later. And the last session opened up quite late, so it looked fine when we started, but very shortly after 1 or 2 laps, the conditions just degraded, and I saw too many cars spin, and I said, if it's not the drivers, it might probably be the lighting. So I said, we didn't have a red flag. The best I could do was throw all yellows on course.
Will there be, of course, the beta UI was I think the main culprit here. Are you going to take some, precaution changes for the next round?
Well, what I can do, that's a tricky thing. See, the beta UI, it has the heat feature, and that's the only place we can access it. A lot of times there is a difference between how you set a hosted session and what's available in beta UI. It's as you say, it's really beta, and I tried 6 to 7 times throughout today to set up a session, and every time I tried to set a opening timing, the whole interface crashed. So ultimately I could only use the sunset feature, which match what was the weather the weather for
I don't know if Mark is still there because I cannot hear him anymore. I just wanted to ask him if we have a chance maybe in the future to have a couple more Lotus 79s on the grid, because it must be lonely to be driving that car all on your own.
Well, I think we should. I think it's a fun car. Obviously, guys who are driving it, they know that they're there to have a bit of fun. But it actually matches up quite well with the F3s. I mean, it is different. It sounds different, but it's a fun car to drive, and I would love to have at least 2 or 3 more guys on the grid, driving this car.
Well, Mark, thank you very much. Before we let you go, anyone you'd like to thank?
I would like to thank everybody who's watching in. I would like to thank everybody who's been racing with us in this season and past seasons, and obviously a big shout out to Kevin who does the weekly stewarding, as well as Bruno Cardosa who actually does all the points computation, and obviously a big heads up to to our 3 spawns. Macau-China SimRacing Association, and SIMMSA, and SimRacing Association of Singapore.
Thank you very much, Mark, and we will catch you next week.
Thank you, guys.
And that was Mark Lang, series organizer, as we are coming towards the end of the broadcast. Once again, the reminder at 18 GMT, 19 BST, we are going to have the media day for the Euro V8s, so you don't want to miss that. And after the usual Sunday off, we will be back on Monday with the usual regularly scheduled programming. So we are going to have the MX5s on Monday, then Rick Motec at night. On Tuesday, the IMSA series and VRS together with the MX5's Pro Series on the Eracing Esports Network. On Wednesday is going to be the Dynamics series. And of course, on Thursday, we are going to have BSR-TC. On Friday, we will have the Le Mans series, and then back on Saturday with the SimRacers Asia competition that will be always, as per usual, at 13 GMT. And Sam, if you don't want to add anything, I think that will be it for us.
Yeah, so I'd just like to add quickly, for Mark, it is genuinely very difficult with the Beta UI, and it does crash. I've had the same issues as him, where it randomly crashes every kind of 5 minutes or so, and literally every time it crashes, you have to reset the settings, and so you can't actually post the session. So I do feel very sorry for Mark, and hopefully the issues will be fixed. But certainly in my first country, may not ever do one of these again, but looks like a fun series, because it is ever so competitive. I had no idea who was going to win at any point. Neither did the drivers, and well, hopefully we see much more of this series over the next few weeks.
Absolutely. So as we get ready for tonight's broadcast of the Euro V8s, we thank you, and of course, starting with Scott Newton behind the camera, Sam Fitzpatrick in the booth with me, and myself, Marco Barbanera, and everyone else here on Apex Racing TV. We wish you, as per usual, a good night and happy racing.